half-back lines Riley Brown, Cooper Omadai and Josh Papertalk. The centre, Mitchell Thompson, Sam Boyce and Jordan Gould. And the half-back line is Jaden Schofield, Rex Flay and Jordan Logie. And the full-back line is Nick Mosley, Jaden Thompson and Harrison Criddle. So the first ruck, Daniel Bogono, Dylan Williamson and Kim Schofield, one of probably the best sides that they've put on the park this year, Glenn. But as you said, two very young debutants as well in Mason Hughes and Arlo Majusic, and Dylan Patatessa also on the bench along with Harrison Lane. So they're out at the big freeze against Towns. Yes, and it will be cold out there at Nabawal later this evening. The freeze gets underway at 11 o'clock. But, of course, it'll be a big day and a big game, an important game, as we mentioned. A couple of new players in for the Town side today. Leroy Shiozaki, he's playing his debut game. So is Jake Bidwell. So we wish both those players all the best. The Town side from the back line today, Robert Bonney, Jake Chapman, James Simmons, Josh DeLacy, Cam Hoffhammer, Leon Jones. Centre line of Caleb Sewell, Drew Forrester and Callum Marquis. Half forwards of Noah Middleton, Gus Heberley and Ray Bonney. And the full forward line of Arthur Garlett, Jalen Parsons and Noah Ugle. First ruck, Lachlan Morphew, Rex Heberley and Drew McGregor. And as we mentioned, interchange players, Leroy Shiozaki, Kane Johnson, Blake Carter and Jake Bidwell. Going to be a big game. And you would think Chapman Valley at their home track can be good enough. But Towns have been a good side in the last couple of years. But they just seem to lack a little bit of seniority now that Rowan Farris isn't playing, Bo Walker's not available, and also Zane Marwick isn't available. So that sort of takes the edge off Towns in recent times. It does, and I think the word is edge because they certainly have a well-drilled sort of system in their team. But just to get over the top of some of the better sides in the competition, they need that edge, and the players you mentioned certainly would give them that, and they don't have that at the moment. And, of course, the game this afternoon, umpired by three wonderful GNFL umpires, Paul Luxton, Kevin Osborne and Russell Brodie doing the umpiring. And, of course, they are our Sandra Carr MLC umpires of the day in the GNFL, so good luck to our three umpires. Hello to Sandra. She likes a footy, Glenn. She's a bit of a Brigades girl, I think, with a name like Kennedy. Of course, her uncles, or I think they're her uncles out there from Kalgoorlie way. They are, yeah. So, she's certainly got a connection to football here in the Midwest. That is for sure. Let's have a look at the Rovers side. And that Rovers side got a couple of young blokes in, one of them making a debut today. Yeah, certainly. From the back line, it reads Bo Simpson, Jamie Gear and Waden Gentle. The half-back lines is Brad Roworth. I think that might be Brad. I don't know if he's played last time we saw them play. No, he didn't, no. He's back into the lineup. He's been a solid player for Rovers for some time, a premiership player indeed, I believe. Kobe Cohen Credelli, it's his debut. Congratulations to Cohen. Chris Scott in the centre line, Josh Simpson in the middle and Sheldon Nelly on the other wing. The half-forward line, Farron Parfitt. Paddy Spout and Kane Simpson. The full forward line is made up of Sean Brennan, Kobe Simpson and Gabriel Parfitt. The ruck division, Matt Adams, Tom Denton and Clay Zavado. And interchange is a River Sandal and Kyson Credelli and Jacob Troy, along with Dwayne Neville. Talking to Dwayne a little bit earlier, he's a bit of a rough trot with sickness, but he reckons he's fighting fit today. Well, that is good news. Mullewa, they've had to make some late changes. There's been 3 or 4 players that are unavailable now because they've transferred to the North Midlands this morning, so that makes them a little bit underdone. And Mullewa just running quickly through their team list. I won't put them in positions because their positions are all changed now because of the absence of those players. But the players playing this afternoon, Jaden Wall, Nathan Simpson, Lateral Riley, Kalen Sealander, Leadham Papertalk, Kelvin Wall, Shane Bonney, Jesse Phillips, Cleon Johnson, Justin Woodley, Corbin Mandajula, Tyler Bullen, Stephen Carnamar, Isaiah Simpson, Cassius Wall, Ivan Morrish, Brad Merry, Zach Papertalk, Charlie Cummigan, Corey Walsh, Karen Atkins and Travis Daniszkowski. So it's going to be a tough day at the office, I think, for Mullewa today, one would think. But we know that Mullewa will put their best foot forward. Pretty good conditions for footy. We see that Rovers have won the toss. Jamie Guy has decided to kick to the northern end of the ground, and the breeze not as blustery as it was this time last week when the wind was really howling. So it's quite a pleasant day out here at Mullewa, a little bit cold, but a good day for the football, and looking forward to a big contest here. Of course, the major sponsors for Mullewa this afternoon, Yalala and Grams,
And they are our scoreboard contributors for Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy on a Saturday afternoon across the Midwest, the Gascoyne and the Murchison. Good to have your company. Umpire Paul Luxton back from injury. It was great to see him back, one of the leading umpires in the GNFL.
How did he get injured? Did he get injured umpiring then?
Probably got injured running.
Yeah, he does a bit of running, doesn't he,
Paul? He does a lot of running. So umpire Luxton holds the ball aloft, and we're about to get this game underway this afternoon. The other umpires, Kevin Osborne and Russell Brodie, and we wish them all well this afternoon. Umpire Luxton to get the game underway here at the beautiful Mullewa Oval. Wall runs to ground by Matt Adams, picked up by Mullewa through Bonnie. Bonnie gets it up the ground and finds hard-running teammate there in Wall. Wall's got it again, gets a kick forward, only a short pass. Umpire says play on, goes back to Cassius Wall. He gets a handball forward, goes the way now of Leadham Papertalk. Papertalk, he's a class act, runs towards goal, screws the ball around, but unfortunately for him and the Mullewa Saints, he's offline. That's the first score. It only took about 13 seconds to get the ball into the forward 50. And on the scoreboard for Yellala, we see that Mullewa are one behind.
The absence of a windsock. We believe there's much breeze out there this afternoon, probably favouring the northern end. Ball coming back in the middle now. Rovers have it on the half-back line. It goes forward now. Gia has it. He sends it further afield. In the middle, it's Simpson who collects it. He's quickly set upon, but it comes off a Rovers boot into the half-forward area now. And young Brennan runs onto it near the boundary in front of the dugout for the Demons. Gets around a couple of players and gives it away to a teammate who's quick to answer the challenge. Going forward now, Scott. He gives it away to a fellow teammate there. He puts it onto his boot, and Sheldon Nally tries to get into the full-foot area. He's finishing off Nally. Leaves a little bit to be desired. I think that is a part of his game that he needs to work on. Seems to blaze away a little bit. The ball coming back into the play now. The Mullewa players quickly set upon. Caught in possession. No. Tackled a little bit too high, the umpire says. Free kick going the way of the Saints. They come inboard now. Nice mark taken by Jaden Wall. Jaden Wall now sends it straight down the middle of the ground. It's marked by Jesse Phillips there. Phillips now just in front of our broadcast position, sends the ball out, but it's picked up by Rovers, who are all right, 6s and 7s at the moment. Mullewa doing better when they get hold of the ball. The ball is in dispute, though. Running onto it is Nally. He's unlucky. He tries to dive onto it. He is not able to collect the ball. Goes further afield now. Mullewa can set something up as they try and put it onto a boot. Quickly stifled in that attempt was that player. Rovers trying to get their game together. Probably a little bit under the apprehension that they're going to probably easily outmatch their opponents today. Going the way of Denton now. Denton sends it across to the other side of the far expanses of Mullewa Oval. It's picked up now by the player there in Paddy Spout. He sends it into the half-forward area. Running onto it is a Rovers player. Quickly shoots on goal, and he scores a goal on this occasion, and that is Gabriel Parfitt. It's his first game that I've seen him play this season. Good to see him back in the lineup, and he scores the first goal of the afternoon for Rovers. But they made hard work of it, did the Demons, Glenn, but they get the first score on the board here on Drennan O'Malley Game Day.
Yes, on the Yellala scoreboard, we see 1 goal to the Rovers side, 1 point to the Mullewa side. And a good goal there from Gabriel Parfitt as we quickly go around the grounds with thanks to the city of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. In Colts games played out at Mazzucchelli Oval, Towns 10-6-66 defeated Chapman Valley 7-8-50. In the reserves, Chapman Valley 5-11-41 defeated Towns 2-4-16. And in the women's game, the two top sides undefeated before today. Chapman Valley 3-9-27 defeated Towns 5 behinds. We're underway in this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, and a free kick's been picked out. So nothing wrong with the way Mullewa have started the game. They've done well so far. The ball goes forward up towards half forward, but Jamie Guy's there, the captain for the Demons, gets it on his left boot, goes out wide, picks out a teammate, and that teammate will send the ball forward. Azevedo looking to get some movement now.
Started the season well, Azevedo, hasn't he?
He's started beautifully. He goes the way of Chris Scott. Chris Scott uses his body and skill to good effect. Plays on now, short pass. Gets it to young Sheldon Nally. Sheldon Nally runs towards half forward, centres the ball, but a Mullewa player stands his ground. A good mark taker there by Corey Walsh. Corey Walsh in defence for the Saints. Kicks the ball back. Looking out there for Shane Bonney. He's got a couple to beat. Flies high. Ball comes to ground. Comes back towards Wall. He gets the ball forward Comes back towards a teammate. Rovers player held while not in possession. That's the way the umpire has seen it. And a free kick will go the way of the Rovers player in River Sandals. River Sandals on centre wing. Kicks it up towards half forward and finds Chris Scott.
Chris Scott playing on a wing this afternoon. Moves inboard now, gets around a couple of players, sends it toward the big sticks. Up they go, up into the air. It was Gabriel Parfitt, but he's outmarked on that occasion, or outpointed by his opposite number. The ball coming forward now. Out of defence from Mullewa. It's in the hands now of Clayton Sealander. Sealander sends it further afield. Mullewa still in possession, though, in the middle of the ground. They do pretty well when they get it to here. Need to set something up in the half-forward line now. Players setting themselves. There's Jamie Kaya. He's unbelievable, that fella. There's not much of him, but he attacks the ball with a lot of strength, and no one wants to get in his way. The ball coming out of the passage of play now. Outside the corridor, down the wing it comes, with the player sent it toward the boundary on that occasion. And as you said, as you know, Glenn, with the new rules now, it will be the last player.
The old lasso.
Old lasso, as they call it. As it comes off a Rovers player last, or kicked it out. The ball will be brought in on this occasion. And it is Travis Danstuick that will send it down the wing.
He gives it away to his teammate in Shane Bonney, the JJ Clune medalist. Kicks it upfield, finds a teammate there, back around the ball. Mullewa doing well. Can they get the ball up into their forward 50, get a score on the board? They've worked hard enough to get a goal. Goes the way of Latrell Riley. Riley sees the ball across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in deep in the right forward pocket at the southern end of the ground. Beautiful conditions for football. Hardly a breath of breeze, a little bit of breeze, but nothing to worry about. It's quite cool. A very pleasant day for the players and the spectators. Ball comes back into play. The week before, the big Mullewa muster, which is a sellout, goes the way of the Mullewa player there. Short pass, and that was a big play from Sealander. He gets it in towards a teammate. That teammate draws a player, goes the way, gives it away of Calvin Wall. Calvin Wall shoots towards goal, just lacks a little bit of depth. Ball goes across and off hands for a minor score. And on the Yalala scoreboard here at the Mullewa Oval, it is Mullewa. 2 behinds. They trail Rovers 1 goal straight.
Calvin Moore unlucky not to hold that mark there. Guy coming out of defence, getting a lot of the ball early. Rovers coach or coaches wouldn't be too happy about that. They'd rather be at the other end of the ground. But Mullewa peppering their forward 50 at the moment. The ball coming the way of Bursell now. Bursell, good to see him back in the lineup. Gets it away of Denton. Denton sends it to the outer side. It's picked up by the player there in Brennan. Beautiful pass by Brennan, but it wasn't picked up. But eventually, off the scraps of a passage of play, the player sets sail for home. He sends it up into the full forward line. That's Farron Parfitt. Finds a player there, and that is Gabriel Parfitt. And he scores his second goal of the afternoon. And Rovers are 2 goals zip.
Yeah, a good start to the Rovers Demons.
2-2, I should say, Glenn.
Yeah, looking at 2 goals straight. The other side has got 2 behinds. Yeah, so a good effort there from the Gabriel Parfitt. 2 goals. Good teamwork with his teammate. Farron got the ball over to him. So we've played some 8 minutes in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And a good scoreline for Rovers, who, as Peter mentioned, probably got a little bit of a breeze at their back. Not noticeable, but are still probably the goal scoring end, the northern end. So a good start for Rovers. But Mullewa, to their credit, they're working hard. Let's hope they can continue to put that intensity to the play. Last week we saw Mullewa pretty competitive on the scoreboard, at least.
In the early stages of their game with Railways, they were, and they look like they're doing it again now. A bit like St Kilda. St Kilda, I believe, are the best first quarter team in the AFL, but that doesn't win your games, Glenn.
No, it doesn't. Ball comes out of the centre now, and Rovers through Tom Denton, the now veteran player, gets the ball up to the forward line, looking up there for Chris Scott. He runs around his opponent, gets a kick away. Ball doesn't go too far, goes the way of Paper Talk. Comes back towards Mullewa. Mullewa kick it up towards centre wing. And the Mullewa player there had 2 to beat. And he couldn't do that, but he was clever enough to get the ball across the boundary line. Young lateral Riley. So the boundary umpire put the Burley back into play. Just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here at Mullewa Oval. So once again, Peter and Glenn have got the best seats in the house. Goes the way of Shane Bonney. Shane Bonney kicks it forward. There's nobody home there for Mullewa, and Kobe Bursell takes the mark. Plays on out wide, finds the hard-running Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson takes a bounce, kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for a teammate in Farron Parfitt. Parfitt cleverly slaps the ball forward. Goes the way there of Joshua Simpson. Simpson gets it up towards full forward, but Mullewa stand their ground. Mullewa kick it back to whence it came, but straight into the arms of the player there in Simpson, Kane Simpson. He centres the ball, and he's picked out a teammate. And that teammate is 50 metres out from goal, directly in front, and that's Farron Parfitt.
The bearded Farron Parfitt at the moment, Glenn, so it looks a little bit different.
And I think Farron only needs one more goal, doesn't he, to get 200 goals?
I bet you he knows that.
Yes. We'll wait to see if he reacts, because that's what we were told by GNFL statistician Victor Tanti this morning. So let's see how Farron goes. He won't get a goal with that one off the side of the boot. He tried to kick it too hard, and the ball went away to the left-hand side, out of bounds on the full. So a good start to both sides. Let's hope Mullewa can keep that intensity going, because Rovers, you would suggest, with the players they've got in their list.
Hello to Johnny Sims, that might be listening in to the call today. Of course, he has two grandsons out there on the park today, and an old Rovers man, premiership player from the 75 premiership, Glenn. He was only a youngster himself when he played in that game, only 15 years of age, and now he's got his two grandsons out there.
Yes, it's great to see the two boys, the two Credelli boys, doing well, and one of them, of course, playing their debut game today. Ball now with Nelly. Sheldon Nelly takes one bounce too many. It bounces the wrong way. Picked up by Kobe Simpson. He centres the ball. Mullewa will go through Matt Adams, I should say. And Matt was held, well, not in possession, so he has an opportunity from a fair way out.
Rovers starting to really get on top now, Glenn, I think.
Yes, it looks like it. And the player there with the ball is
Matty Adams sends it in, and it's Chris Scott that takes the mark, man. So he's going to shoot on goal. So Rovers in the last 10 minutes have started to get a hold on this game this afternoon. They've playing with a bit of structure that's paying dividends, and Chris Scott is a little bit closer than the last kick on goal, which was by Farron Parfitt. Chris Scott's kicked a few in his day, and that's another one that you can put in the book. So Chris Scott has scored the third goal of the afternoon, and that sees Rovers go to 3 goals, 1, and they lead Mullewa just the 2 points. This quarter brought to you, Glenn, incidentally, by Community Bank Geraldton. Face-to-face banking, you can even do that on a Saturday morning.
Yes, the only bank that you can do face-to-face banking with on a Saturday morning. So very, very interesting indeed. Now Rovers are starting to flex their muscles a little, and Chris Scott is doing as he wants, and that is a dangerous sign, because he is a big, strong player as the Rovers players come off for a spell. So a Rovers player, Paddy Spout, goes off for a break. So the ball back in the centre. The umpire puts the ball into the air, and it goes the way of that player again, and Adams. He wins it to ground for Rovers, but is roved beautifully by Mullewa. Mullewa player does well, gets rewarded for his efforts, and we see the ball now with the Mullewa player in Isaiah Simpson. Isaiah Simpson looking for something up the track, and he gets a short pass forward, and he's picked out a teammate there, and a good bit of play. Mullewa have the ball, gets a kick forward, and a whistle on play. A free kick's been picked out, and Mullewa, a young
Kyson
Credelli gets his kick away after getting paid a free kick. Goes out wide, finds the player there for Rovers. Rovers get it up the ground through Aitken. Comes up the ground now and finds the player there in Dwayne Neville. Neville with the ball. Neville gets the ball up the ground, and the mark has been taken again from Chris Scott. So Chris Scott is 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Chris Scott kicked the last goal and has an opportunity to kick his second goal in as many minutes.
More of an angle now. He's on the broadcast side of the ground, Glenn, on a 45-degree angle with the Rovers dugout right behind him.
Yeah, so we only played 12 minutes in this first term, so still a long way to go in this first term. And Rovers starting to get ahead and starting to break the scoreboard open now on the yellow scoreboard. Chris Scott gets his second in a couple of minutes, and we see that Rovers have got their 4th goal of the afternoon. Rovers go to 4 goals straight. They lead Mullewa 2 behind. So the danger signs and the flashing lights starting to happen now, Peter.
Certainly, Chris Scott's going to be a bit like Tracy for Fremantle Dockers today. He's a big conveyance in the forward line. It's great to talk with Judd McPhee this morning on Sportshed Saturday, Glenn, and catching up with the youngster from this neck of the woods, and so good of him to give us his time.
Certainly after a big performance like last night, and, to win 10 games straight as the Dockers have done is a marvellous achievement, of course. Not done very often, and of course they have a tough task next weekend. They have to go to the Gabba and take on Brisbane, but they're playing well enough to really push the Brisbane Lions, there's no doubt about it. Adams wins the ball, comes the way of Josh Simpson. He throws it on his left boot, kicks it forward, looking up there for Brennan, but the ball comes out now to Farron Parfitt. He kicks towards goal, screws it around the corner, and he's picked out Chris Scott, who was trying to kick a goal. But Chris Scott waited for it, and it bounced into his arm. So Chris Scott has kicked the last goal, 3 goals, unattended. And that's the thing, Chris Scott on his own this afternoon can create a fair bit of havoc because he's a clever player and a strong player. But it would be nice to see someone man him up. But there aren't enough people out there at the moment to do that, I don't think. So that's going to be a very, very big
bit of a
concern.
luxury for the Demons, isn't it?
It is a big luxury. So the scoreboard ticks over, as we mentioned, and it looks like it's going to be a big lead heading towards the quarter-time break, but we've still got a long way to go in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
Well, back in the middle now, players setting themselves, and Matty Adams easily wins the ruck tab, sending it into the half-forward area. I wonder where young Tazewell is today, Glenn. He's not playing. He may have... I don't know if he's injured, but maybe have other commitments. But Matty Adams doing the rucking for the Demons today. So Matty Adams, Tazewell, they've got a good ruck division too. Have the red and blacks as it goes to the outer side now. It's picked up by Azevedo. Gee, nice kick by Azevedo. That was a beauty. It was a snap from about 45 metres straight through the middle.
Yeah, a big goal. And we've been singing his praises for a couple of years, and we've seen him come to the fore with good players around him. He is a very good player, and he's working on his fitness, getting himself into a very, very good position. And Clay Azevedo gets his first of the afternoon, but he's been kicking goals at will this year and doing pretty well. And he's been consistently amongst the better players for Rovers. So with good players around him, he has continued to
Perhaps
improve.
This year is his year, Glenn.
Yes, for sure. So a good start to the scoreboard for Yalala scoreboard, and Rovers are 6 goals straight, 36. Very efficient kicking. Mullewa are 2 behind. Ball back in the centre, and the umpire puts the ball into the air. Umpire Kevin Osborne comes the way of Gabriel Parfitt. He feeds the handball out, looking there for a teammate. That teammate gets it further afield, and an opportunity now for Mullewa through Corey Walsh. But the ball spills back, goes the way of Simpson. Simpson kicks it forward. That's Josh Simpson for Rovers. Kicks it forward, but only as far as a Mullewa defender. Mullewa in a bit of bother. They get a handball out. Ball running free. Picked up now by Brennan. Brennan puts it on his boot.
Oh, nice
screws
kick.
it across the ground, and he's picked out a teammate. That playmate is Kyson Credelli, and Kyson has an opportunity to shoot on goal. So Kyson Credelli, 35 metres out, directly in front.
I mixed him up with Colton a little bit earlier on, Glenn. They look quite similar out there, as you can imagine.
Yes, so Kyson getting the ball forward, and so Kyson Credelli directly in front, kicking to the northern end. Can he get his first goal of the afternoon? Goal umpire signals 1 point only, so a blocked copybook for Rovers on the Yalala scoreboard. Rovers are 6 goals, 1, 37. They lead Mullewa 2 behinds.
Ball out of defence now, first blot in the copybook, as you said, for the Demons. 6 straight goals. Now 6-1. Credelli getting opportunity, but unlucky on that occasion. Ball is in defence now for the Saints. Coming down the line, a nice mark is taken by the Saints custodian. He tries to send it inboard, loses possession though. Lucky enough to hold on to it, going back the way of a couple of players, and they really are struggling to find some traction at Mullewa at the moment as the ball goes across the ground, almost intercepted by that player for Rovers, who knocks it down in Simpson, goes away with Azevedo. Gee, that's a beautiful kick. Lace out, a mark by Kobe Simpson. He's about 35 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle. You're not used to Kobe shooting for goals.
So Kobe Simpson, a versatile player, as Peter mentioned, usually plays in defence. And when we saw them play last against Towns, it was Kobe and Bo in defence that certainly saved their day and certainly helped them out in the last quarter. There goes Kobe's kick, not too pretty off the boot. And that might be why he plays in defence, because he didn't make that look very pretty at all. Goes through for a minus score. So another minus score on the scoreboard for Yalala this afternoon. And we see Rovers are 6-2. They lead Mullewa 2 straight. Mullewa need to get the ball out of the defensive zone. Ball comes forward, comes up towards a teammate there. And umpire's giving it plenty of opportunity for the ball to spill out. It does now. Goes the way of Azevedo.
He's having a great game.
And Azevedo shoots on goal from 35 metres, 45-degree angle. And Rovers' Clay Azevedo gets his second goal of the afternoon. So looking at our goal scorers to this point, Clay Azevedo has 2, Chris Scott has 3, and Gabriel Parfitt has 2. So looking at the Yalala scoreboard as we head towards time on in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, and Rovers have certainly got away to a good start. Rovers are 7 goals to. They lead Mullewa 2 behinds.
Yes, and Clay Azevedo is starring so far this afternoon. He's had a lot of room though, Glenn, so he certainly hasn't been put under pressure. But you take opportunities, and he's certainly taking all before him this afternoon. Just repeating the goal scoreline, I should say, 7-2 Rovers. They lead Mullewa just the 2 points. Mullewa got off to a start heading into their forward 50 early. But Rovers, once they started to find their feet, totally dominated this game so far this afternoon. Drennan O'Malley game day. And this quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. The ball coming out in the middle. Mullewa will have it, or do they? Going the way of a Mullewa player who decides to use it laterally, sends it across the ground, and Isaiah Simpson finds a teammate there. That teammate is Kalen Sealander. Sealander sends it back across the ground again, so zigzagging, but goes away of Gabriel Parfitt, who's come down the ground to get a kick. He sent it in the way of Brennan. Brennan up into the air. Couldn't take the mark. The ball spills free. Goes to ground. He might get another bite of it here, does Brennan, but a player is dealt with at the base of the ball, the base of the passage of play, and it is a Mullewa player, and he'll have the free kick. So Mullewa on the half-back line under siege at the moment are the Saints. Quarter time can't come quickly enough for them to get their breath back as it comes down the line now. The mark is taken by Mullewa. They send it inboard, but there he is. Kobe Simpson. A bit of a military-style haircut for Simpson there. Goes further afield now from the player there, who I've been impressed with in this game so far, in Sheldon Nally. As I said, he needs to finish off better. The ball goes inboard now. Mullewa will do well to get it out of that passage of play. Coming away now through the guys of Calvin Wall. Wall takes his time, decides to go laterally. There's nothing upfield for him. Going the way now of a player there who moves on along with the ball in Walsh. Walsh sends it further afield to the outer side of a scoreboard that is well and truly in favour of the Demons in the early stages of this game this afternoon. The ball's in dispute, but Rovers have it. It's the player there in Denton. He's clever, the JJ Clune medalist. He gets it up as far as this bloke in Scott. Clune medalist to Clune medalist as he sends it inboard now. Azevedo turns around. Will he have another goal? No, on this occasion, a little bit too cute and going through for the minor score. But Clay Azevedo has got the ball on a string.
Yalala scoreboard, and Rovers are 7 goals, 3. They lead Mullewa 2 goals straight as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton, out there at Mazzucchelli Oval at quarter time. Towns 3-3-21, lead Chapman Valley 2-2-14. So a tight contest, 7 points the margin in favour of the Bulldogs in the first quarter.
Kirrilly, of course, a great supporter of the Chapman Valley Footy Club then.
Well, the former Shire president of the Chapman Valley Shire. Of course,
a Chapman Valley girl through and through.
That's right, very much so. The ball comes back and the free kick's been picked out, and it'll go the way of Credelli. Credelli plays on quickly, short pass.
Too easy.
And gave it straight to Chris Scott, who's all on his own. Chris Scott's never been so unmanned in his life.
Goal number 3, I think, is he?
Yeah, this will be his 4th.
4th. I always get one. I'm always way out by one. One day I'll get it.
Chris Scott, 10 metres out, directly in front, going for goal number 4. So not a bad first quarter for the veteran. So Chris Scott lines up for goal.
Not on this occasion. Yep, no, it was through.
And his 4th goal of the afternoon. And on the Yalala scoreboard,
shot.
Rovers go to 8 goals, 3, which is 51. They lead Mullewa 2 behind, so Mullewa in for a long afternoon as the ball to be brought back to the centre, but a good contest by Rovers. They are doing at will, getting the ball out of the centre. Matt Adams is doing pretty well there.
Yeah, he's pretty much dominating it, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Mullewa just lack those key position players and lack a bit of height, which has been a problem for the last few years. But there's nothing wrong with their endeavour. You can't underestimate the young Mullewa players. They are trying to get into the contest, but they have got a lot of work ahead of them as we see the time tick by, and we've played almost 25 minutes. So deep into this quarter, but there's been a few goals scored, so it could go a little bit longer. Ball comes the way of Mullewa now. Comes the way of the player there in Kelvin Wall. He can't pick it up. He does eventually get it back to a neutral position. It was picked up by Farron Parfitt. He gives it away there to Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson goes out wide, looking out there for Nelly. In goes Mullewa. Well done to Leadham Paper Talk. Gives it back to the young player in Riley. Riley gets it up the ground, and a Mullewa player driven into the ground there, and Mullewa will get the free kick. So this young player has played quite well. So number 13 for the Mullewa Saints gets the ball forward. Big kick up towards the half forward. Looking up there for a teammate and finds the player, and good to see. Feeds it back, and Mullewa will get the ball deep into attack. A whistle on play. Umpire says it's off hands and a minus score. So Mullewa will get their third behind of the afternoon. And the ball is on the rebound. Goes the way of Chris Scott on half back now. He plays on quickly. Goes the way of Jamie Geyer. Jamie Geyer has it just in front of the scoreboard. And it's a one-way track at the moment. And Rovers seem to have the way to goal.
And the West Coast Eagles giving Collingwood a run for their money at the moment, Glenn. They lead in Melbourne. The ball coming back the way now of Rovers in the half-forward area. Azevedo has it. He had most of it this afternoon into the half-forward area. Running onto it is Gabriel Parfitt. All too easy. Even a soccer shot on goal. He let it just fall onto his boot. That was a great passage of play, but not inhibited at all as they went forward with the Demons. Gabriel Parfitt scores another goal this afternoon.
Yes, it's all too easy. So Gabriel gets his third of the afternoon, so they're racking them up. Chris Scott's got 4, and Clay Azevedo's got 2.
It's not even quarter time yet.
And we're heading towards time. Time is up, I think, in this first quarter. So
I think Gabriel Parfitt's got more than a couple as well, hasn't
he? Gabriel's got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ball is back in the centre. The siren is about to sound to end this first quarter. And it can't come quick enough for the Mullewa Saints. And Rovers doing the job in this early part of the game and doing it quite easily. Mullewa have the ball back in the centre, but there's the siren. Quarter time of the football this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. And looking at the Yalala scoreboard, it is Rovers 9-3-57. They lead Mullewa 2 behinds. And you're on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
Live on Radio Mama, it's your GNFL match of the day. Thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
Big lift, old roads, we been tearing up since way back when. But these wheels are innocent. New hitch, new seats, no hit story, and you just can't fake that. So let's change.
Entertaining game of footballs, particularly if you're a Rovers supporter, because Rovers have jumped away to a pretty good start and a quarter time. Rovers 9 goals, 3-57. Mullewa are 3 behind. And of course, this is the Drellin O'Malley Motors game day coming live from Mullewa with Glenn Barton and Peter Frenza. And you are tuned to Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We are your home of GNFL footy. Of course, the Geraldton GNFL Community Bank Premiership season. Looking at our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. We can tell you that Chris Scott has kicked 4, Gabriel Parfitt's kicked 3, and Clay Azevedo has kicked 2. So that's the goal scorers. Looking at contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, thought Calvin Wall is doing well. Leadham Paper Talk trying hard. Shane Bonney doing the best he can. And Heath Wongawal, like the way he's played his game, but a lot of work to be done by the Mullewa Saints as they try to get their way back into this contest.
Better players for mine in that quarter for Rovers. Glenn. There were a lot of them, though. Got a lot of the ball. I thought Matt Adams dominating the ruck. Chris Scott's been good up front. Sheldon Nelly has been impressive on a wing. And Clay Azevedo has dominated in the middle.
And umpire Russell Brody, one of 3 umpires this afternoon for the Sandra Carr MLC umpires of the day for the GNFL, Paul Lux and Kevin Osmond. Brody umpire puts it into the air. Ball roved beautifully by Tommy Denton. He gets it out wide, looking out there for Sheldon Nelly, very close to the boundary line, and the ball goes out of bounds. And Kristen Wright is the player that sees the ball across the boundary line. As we go around the grounds, we can tell you at quarter time, Chapman Valley 4 goals, 3-27, lead Towns 3-3-21. So Chapman Valley went into the quarter time break leading by 6 points out there at Mazzucchelli Oval.
Good game out there at Nabwar. The ball going back the way of Azevedo now, right near the boundary. Doesn't take it over, though. It's retrieved by the custodian for the Saints. He's tackled a little high. He plays on inboard now. Nice mark is taken as the ball comes inboard. It's a lovely mark under pressure. Mark there taken by Ivan Moorish. Of course, Moorish in his blood. You'd have to have a bit of talent about him, that's for sure. The ball on the half-back line, though, goes away of this player in Simpson. That's Josh Simpson. But
went a bit too far.
Yeah, running around like a man with his head cut off on that occasion and lost possession of the ball.
Good pressure.
It was good pressure. The ball going forward now for Mullewa. Off the boot it comes into the half-forward area. Nice mark is taken. Oh, no, it's not dropped in the last line of defence. Would have been a nice mark and could have been an early goal for the Saints to start them off on the second term, but out of defence it comes now. Credali. It's Colin Credali, sent it down the middle of the ground, but nice mark up into the air he goes, up above the clouds when Jaden Wall took a nice mark, the smallest man in that passage of play, and he'll now shoot toward goal. The breeze must be a fair breeze at the moment, Glenn, because players kicking from inside the centre square. So
well, you hadn't made it yet. I don't think there's a lot of breeze. Looking at the trees, there doesn't seem to be much movement.
See what happens now. Wall. He sends it further afield. It's going to drop short. Up it goes into the air. Comes down just beside the point post. Players diving on top of it. Mullewa keen to keep it in their forward 50. Rovers defence the opposite. Ball coming back into a host of players, and the umpire has awarded a free kick, I think. Yeah, to Mullewa. So Lux of fortunes for the Saints as they have a shot on goal now. Just trying to work out who that player is, Glenn.
I think it's Karen Atkin.
Atkin on the far side of... It's Johnson who has the ball. So Johnson about to have a shot on goal. A check side kick. Goes straight across the face of the big sticks and out on the full. So that means Rovers will probably have the ball now. They will through Jamie Geyer.
They need to take every chance, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Jamie Geyer, premiership player, champion defender for the Demons, comes down the line and finds Credelli. It's Colin Credelli. Sends it further afield. Not a good kick by Credelli. It's picked up by Mullewa. They mop it up. They'll make him pay as they send it inboard, but that person in Simpson has other ideas. He kicks it to the outer side. Kobe Simpson, his brother, collects it. He's quickly set upon, though. The ball spills free, but they're away. Kane Simpson. Simpson. A simplex on the far side of Mullewa Oval as the ball comes inboard now. Mullewa not knowing what to do at 6s and 7s when they get the ball. There's no passage going forward, but players finding some room, and that player to do so on that occasion was Shane Bonney, the veteran. Turns around, sends it down the corridor, up into the air it goes. Geyer, he does well. Gets it to a teammate. Going back the way of our player in Nelly there, now out of defence, but he kicks to a contest. Probably not the best choice as Mullewa send it back to where it came from.
Good kick.
They're going to get a goal here, or are they? It's offline in the last line of defence, Glenn. It bounced end on end and through for the minus score.
Good effort there from Mullewa. They're not getting a lot of reward on the scoreboard. They keep peppering away. Get another minus score. They deserve a goal soon. Ball with Tom Denton on half-back. Goes with a short pass. Finds a teammate there. Roworth. He's played a lot of footy around the place in recent years.
Daniel's the new star recruit for Rovers, not out there today either, Glenn. So Tazewell, Daniel, there's a few out of the lineup.
Ball, whistle on player, 50-metre penalty. A Mullewa player got in the wrong position, didn't stand. Danishkowski, and the free kick will go up the ground, and all of a sudden we see the ball with Clay Azevedo, who's been very damaging around goal this afternoon.
Jamin alone, the area to which Clay Azevedo is taking over from this afternoon. He usually has it, does Jamin alone. They're not quite sure what's wrong with him, Glenn. He's got a heel problem. We thought it could have been plantar fascia, but they're not quite sure and don't know when he'll be returning.
Oh, let's hope he recovers quickly. He's a beauty. Ball goes forward, and
I think it's a
goal there from Clay Azevedo. So Clay Azevedo is getting his goals scoring up this afternoon. He's kicked 3 for the day, and that is the first major of the term. So a very, very good quick goal in the end. It took 4 minutes in this second term. And this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, and Clay Azevedo gets another one on the board, so he's doing okay. And on the scoreboard for Grams this afternoon from the Mullewa Oval, a big scoreline. Rovers are 10 goals, 3. They lead Mullewa 3. They lead Mullewa 4 behinds. So a good start to the Rovers Demons. Out there at Mazzucchelli Oval, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton. At quarter time, it was Chapman Valley 4-3-27, Towns 3-3-21. Umpire Osborne to put the ball into the air again. And once again, the big fellas go at it. Adams gets the best of it, goes the way of Tom Denton, spills out towards Josh Simpson, comes back towards Tom Denton, working hard. He kicks the ball out wide, looking for young Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson does well. Beautiful kick forward and picks out his teammate there. Good mark taken by Bradley Roworth. Roworth gets a kick forward, looking for Dwayne Neville. Dwayne couldn't hold the mark, but he goes back in. His second effort is good. Runs around his opponent, puts the boot to ball, finds out Josh Simpson's there. He gives it by hand to Gabriel Parfitt. Back to Josh. Josh Simpson, that is. Simpson shoots on goal. Looks pretty good off the boot. Not good enough because it's hit the goal post.
He makes something out of nothing, that fella.
He
almost did on that occasion, didn't he?
Another minus score on the board, this time for Demons.
The ball comes quickly ricocheted out of the defence, goes away of Kobe Simpson. He sends it inboard, and now Denton will have a shot on goal, Glenn. So Rovers totally dominating. I was watching Denton talk with assistant coach Dave Forenza at quarter time, and it looked like Dave was demanding that he up the ante, Denton, and do a bit of work out there.
Okay, so it's working so far because he's been very good so far in this term. So Tom Denton, he's out 45 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the southern end. So Tom Denton, one of the stars of the Demons side, of course, a JJ Clune medalist, shoots on goal. Goal umpire signals all clear. And Tom Denton, gets his first of the afternoon. And the Demons keep going on their merry way.
Hasn't been much rain out at Mullewa to this point, Glenn, but it is raining goals here this afternoon.
It is. On the Graham scoreboard, we see Mullewa 11 goals, 4. They lead their opponents, Mullewa, 4 behind. So 66 points to the margin in favour of Rovers, who, like Railways did last week, got a real percentage booster when they came out here last week. We saw Railways get 144 points to the final margin. And at this stage, the Rovers are on target to do that if they can keep running the game out. Ball back in the centre, whistle on play. Umpire said there was interference and will go the way of Roworth. So he's getting a bit of the ball now too, Bradley Roworth.
Yes, of course, a premiership player with the Demons, Glenn. He sent it out to the broadcast side, but he's looking for a player there to run onto it and almost work that idea as it goes the way of Sheldon Nelly, but the boundary come up all too quickly. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Dirac. She's been up in Exmouth this week, Glenn, overlooking hopefully what is a good clean-up, but they did suffer a bit from Cyclone Narelle, didn't they?
They certainly did, yes. We wish all the people in Exmouth all the best, and of course a good place to go holidaying.
It certainly is.
We've still got to support these places, even though they've had some tough times, like Carnarvon and also Exmouth, as you mentioned.
Denton.
Ball with Denton. Denton kicks the ball up towards half forward, looking up there for Chris Scott. Almost a good mark to Scott. He gets tackled, has 2 players put a tackle on him, but he holds the ball to him, and the umpire, once again, Kevin Osborne, will come in and throw the ball up close to the boundary line on the half-forward flank, about 50 metres from the goal line. Picked up by the player there in Mullewa, in Jaden Wall. Jaden Wall, and it goes the way of the teammate, goes the way of a Mullewa player. Mullewa have the ball now. Mullewa have it through the agency there of Zach Papertalk, but the ball's cut off by Rovers, and Rovers release the ball back through Kobe Bursell, goes the way of Chris Scott. So Chris Scott goes by hand, finds Kobe Bursell. Kobe Bursell's tackle, ball gets dropped, and advantage rule played now as we see Mullewa get the ball out of defence. They come out wide.
Oh, good
Once
mark.
again, Clay Azevedo stands his ground, and Clay Azevedo, very dangerous ploy, and Clay Azevedo takes a good strong mark, kicks it back deep into the forward pocket, looking out there for a teammate, and a good mark taken there by Jamie Geyer. The umpire says that the mark will stand, and the umpire will go in and put the player on his mark. And now
Farron Parfitt.
50-metre penalty.
Farron Parfitt, Glenn.
Yep. So Gabriel Parfitt has marked the ball.
Farron.
And there's Farron Parfitt has been paid the mark and a 50-metre penalty. So what was going to be a difficult kick won't be a difficult kick. And Farron Parfitt gets a goal on the board. So Farron's first of the afternoon. And that might have been a goal-scoring record for Farron. He's done pretty well in his career. He gets his first of the afternoon, but he's been overshadowed this afternoon because everyone else is getting in his road.
But they don't have the record that he's got.
No, but Farron would be happy he got that one.
Yep.
And the scoreboard rolls over. For the Graham scoreboard, it is Rovers 12 goals, 4. They lead Mullewa 4 behind. So the margin stretches out to some 72 points.
You listen to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football, relaying through Radio Geraldton. Ball coming back to the middle now, and it is a big lead to Rovers. 12 goals to no major by the Saints. Still early stages of the second term. The ball going the way of Denton. Denton and Azevedo doing what they will at the moment in the middle of the ground. One, of course, a JJ Clune medalist, the other an aspiring champion for the Demons. The ball comes out the way of Azevedo from Denton into the half-forward area, and another mark is taken, and I think it's Nelly that has it on this occasion. Just looking around the spectators that forget that there's a broadcast going on and like to stand in front of us, Glenn. But Nelly now will have a shot on goal. He's on about a little bit more than a 45-degree angle. He's right in front of the dugout for Mullewa, and not far from our broadcast position. Nelly, he's got to prove to me that he is a bit of a goal sneak. He gets the ball up there, but his finishing off has left a lot to be desired in my book. Part of his game that he can work on, and maybe he's doing that this afternoon. So in he comes now, Nelly. He'll shoot on goal, but it'll go across the face. Player setting themselves up into the air, goes fair and perfect. Couldn't take the mark, a little bit too early. The defence from Mullewa will do better on this occasion. Where will they go with it? They send it out, luckily, and the ball is marked by Kalen Sealander.
Plays on now. Shane Bonney gets it across the ground. They don't mind going wherever they need to go to get the ball forward. Goes the way Kelvin Wall, goes out wide, picks out a teammate. That teammate is Nathan Simpson. He goes up the ground, finds another friend and colleague. Ball goes up towards centre wing. Handball goes the way of Kalen Sealander. He gets it forward. So Mullewa trying to get the ball forward through Christian Wright. Ball comes back towards Rovers. Rovers get it the way of Josh Simpson. Ball spills, comes back towards Kalen Sealander. And a ball handballed forward, slapped to the ground, goes the way now of Sealander again. Ball kicked forward, goes the way now of the Mullewa player who stands his ground. Good mark from Daniskowski. He gets it forward, good play, finds Cleon Johnson. Cleon Johnson kicks the ball forward, looking up there for some run. Ball goes towards the player there in Zane Simpson, but he sees the ball across, Kane Simpson that is. Kane Simpson sees the ball across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw-in.
So it's that many Simpsons, Glenn, you get confused, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. So young Kane Simpson working hard in his new side this year. He played last year for Chapman Valley and the year before with his brothers, Kobe and also Bo, and they're having a good influence on the Rovers side again this afternoon. Ball comes the way of Mullewa. The ball slaps the ground, goes the way of Rovers now, but picked up by Mullewa. Well done to the young Mullewa player there, and Ivan Morrish. He looks like a likely type.
He does.
He tries to screw the ball around the corner, but the ball goes out of bounds on the full. Of course, this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, and we've played some 11 minutes in this term. A bit more, 15 minutes.
Yeah, halfway through the term, or a bit more than that, as Jamie Guy comes straight down the middle of the ground. The ball is with Kobe Bursell. Kobe Bursell missing a few early games through suspension from Colts, I believe, Glenn, last season.
Right.
But he's bulked up a bit as Kobe Bursell, of course, grandson of the great Rovers president and Bill Bursell, the late Bill Bursell. Great man, great Rovers man. The ball going the way of Mullewa now, coming laterally in front of our broadcast position. Little passages of play look good for Mullewa, but they can't finish things off as the ball goes the way now.
50-minute penalty.
Shane Bonney, and he's been good, the player running across the mark. No one understands those rules at all, Glenn.
No.
Even in the AFL.
Yeah, and our blokes are battling to get a kick, so it's a bit tough, isn't
if
it?
it can happen at the highest level for not understanding, what's it going to be like here? The ball in the corridor now. Rovers have it again through Kane Simpson. Gets it to this bloke in Scott, the Clune medalist. Gets it back now to our player in Simpson. That's Joshua Simpson. Joshua Simpson sends it to the outer side, but it's Mullewa who are mopping up at the moment. A little bit of a purple patch. If they can finish something off here, they've had a bit of the ball in the last 10 minutes. They do certainly do. The ball going forward now for Mullewa inside the forward 50. Two players going at it, one Rovers, one Mullewa. Who's going to win out? The ball spills free, goes away now. This player in Kane Simpson again. Williver-West gets it away to Denton. He can steady the ship. He sends it inboard and finds that player in Neville. Couldn't take the mark. He'd swallowed his lolly before he'd taken it into his mouth. And the ball goes to ground now. Works hard though, Neville. He doesn't give up. If he misses on the first attempt, he has another go. But caught in possession on this occasion. The ball going the way of Mullewa. They send it further afield into the full forward area. And up into the air, a nice mark. A beautiful mark is taken by Jamie Gear, and he certainly is a good mark in the competition, isn't he?
He is, certainly is. The ball now with the player there in Scott. Chris Scott kicks the ball forward. Matt Adams soccers the ball forward. Mullewa player held while not in possession. That's the way the umpire has sent it. Of course, our umpires this afternoon doing a wonderful job, as they always do, for Sandra Carr, MLC. And, of course, the GFL umpires are Kevin Osborne, Paul Luxon and Russell Brodie this afternoon. Ball comes the way of Chris Scott on centre wing. Feeds a handball out to Tom Denton. Rovers are on the run forward. Looking there for Gabriel Parfitt. Gabriel Parfitt on half forward. Mullewa player uses his body to good extent there. Well done to Zach Papertalk. But the ball comes back and Mullewa have it now through Aitken. He comes across the ground, picks out a teammate, and the player I enjoyed watching in the first quarter, Heath Wongawal. He looks like a lively type, the young man. Comes the way of the veteran in young Shane Bonney, but Shane can't hold it on this occasion. Kelvin Wall slaps the ball forward, picked up now by Farron Parfitt. Farron Parfitt from 60 metres, kicks it towards goal, finds Kobe Simpson.
Too easy.
Kobe Simpson runs into an easy goal, and Kobe Simpson gets another one on the board. That's the 13th.
That passage of play was like Farron said, give it to me, boys. I'll sort it out.
Yes. And he got it forward and running with the flight of the ball, and Kobe Simpson was able to finish off from point-blank range. So on the Graham scoreboard as we head towards half-time, it is Rovers 14 goals, 4, and they lead their opponents, Rovers 4 behind. So a very good performance.
So Mullewa haven't scored a goal to this point in the game, and that's pretty irregular for the Mullewa side.
In fact, it's 13 goals, 4. So looking forward to a score on the board in a major sense for Mullewa. They've tried and they've tried and they've tried. They just haven't been able to get the score on the board. Ball back in the centre. Umpire Russell Brodie to put the ball into the air. So Kobe Simpson puts his hand up again and says, I am a forward, coaches. After that goal, ball back goes the way of Adam. Slaps it to the ground, goes the way of Mullewa's Bonnie. Bonnie goes by hand and gives it to Sealander. Sealander goes out wide, finds a hard-running player there in Riley. Riley centres the ball, and the Mullewa player couldn't mark it, but it spills now, and all of a sudden Rovers are on the rebound. Looking up there for Azevedo on centre wing. Shane Bonnie, good effort, gets it out towards Derek Shaw. Comes back towards the player there, and good opportunity now. And the ball is with Mullewa's Ivan Morrish. And Ivan Morrish is 35 metres out, directly in front.
Glenn, Shane Bonney, a Clune medalist, and he does demonstrate the difference when you go to the next level of player. He's a bit older than a lot of his compatriots out there, but he doesn't give up, does he? Keeps going.
He certainly is a little bit older. He's certainly feeling it too as he walks back to the centre. But, gee, he put every effort in, didn't he?
He doesn't stop.
He worked his little heart out. And Morris shoots on goal. And that's a wonderful goal for Mullewa. They deserve that for all their hard work. And a good bit of play there from young Ivan Morrish. Getting the first score on the board as we head towards half-time. So it's been lean times for Mullewa in this first half. And on the Graham scoreboard, Mullewa are now 1 goal 4. They trail Rovers, who are 13 goals 4. So quite a sizable margin, but well received there and a good effort from young Ivan Morrish.
This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack, Peter Forenza and Glenn Barnden, bringing you all the action from Mullewa Oval this afternoon. In our Drennan O'Malley game day, the other game, of course, is being played at Mazzacali Oval out there at Nabor this afternoon. It's a big freeze, Glenn.
Yeah, big day, and good luck to all those people going down the slide at 6 o'clock tonight as player Zavado grabs the ball out of the centre, kicks it up forward, looking up there for Brennan. Ball comes out, goes away of Kobe Simpson. He looks it out again, looking for Gabriel Parfitt. Goes back to Simpson. Simpson gives it away to Gabriel Parfitt. He puts it on his boot, kicks it forward, and he's found young Credelli. And Credelli will shoot on goal. He's deep in the left forward pocket.
Kyson.
So Kyson Credelli with the ball.
He's going to go for check side kick here. All the young blokes know what they're doing, don't they?
They do. So he's on the left pocket. So he's a right footer. So let's see how he goes. He's not screwing it around. It looks like he's going straight, direct route, which is a good effort, but it goes across the face of goal. But luck's a fortune. Maybe it was a pass. No, it's out of bounds on the full.
Glenn, this morning on Sportshed Saturday, we were talking along with our guests in Mick Thompson, also Victor Tanti, about how a goal sneak can lose their mojo, talking about how Jai Miss has found his and how Waterman has certainly lost his for a little while. And Mick was saying it's just that they've changed kicking now. They don't sort of kick straight at goal a lot anymore. They kick around the ball and around the mark and all that sort of thing. And now it's probably confusing them somewhat.
It is. They don't have the old process because they're looking to whether they should screw the ball around the corner. Ball with Kelvin Wall. He plays on. Short pass. Picks out his teammate. And they go quickly forward through Jaden Wall. Jaden Wall kicks it up towards Morrish. Morrish has got a few to beat. Goes the way of young Credelli. Credelli kicks the ball forward. A good mark taken by Brennan. So Brennan has it. Goes with a short pass to Azevedo. Umpire says it was the 15 metres. Gets it up the ground. The ball goes now to Chris Scott. So Chris Scott on the boundary line. Still 65, 70 metres from goal. Kicks it up towards half forward. Pack into the air. Ball comes forward. And once again, Paper Talk's there. Does well. Clears up beautifully. Goes out wide. Finds a hard-running player there in Manjali. He gets the ball forward. Goes back towards a teammate now. Picked up by the young player there in Cassius Wall. Gets the ball forward. And an opportunity again for Mullewa. And a nice pass. He's picked out Johnson.
It was one of the best passages of play so far this afternoon, Glenn. It went from half-back to half-forward quite seamlessly.
Very nicely indeed. So Johnson has the ball. He is 30 metres out on a very acute angle. And let's hope he can get the score on the board. Keep the scoreboard rolling over a little bit.
He's already had a shot at goal.
He has, yeah. He has a goal. He went right across. It was a tighter angle last time. He is in the right forward pocket. Kicking to the northern end. Goal umpire signals all clear. So Johnson gets his first of the afternoon. Well done. A good effort indeed. That's young Cleon Johnson. So Mullewa have got 2 goal scorers now. Ivan Morrish has one and Cleon Johnson has one.
Just to add just a few more to those pile of goal scorers to get back into this game. The Demons taking their foot off the pedal a little bit, but it's pretty hard when you're sort of dominating a game to try and get that inertia. But that's something that coaches in this situation try and get out of their charges because they need to keep the intensity going. So the ball coming back to the middle now. Thanks for listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. And, of course, you can hear us each and every Saturday morning live and local from Mitchell and Brown on Chapman Road for Sportshed Saturday, including, of course, Footy Forum. And, of course, Footy Forum looks at all the local games that are happening in our neck of the woods. And we're joined each and every Saturday morning by our guest co-hosts or panellists. Our panellists are Murray Gardner and also Rebecca Ruthven. Join Glenn Barnton. The ball going forward now, and it is Gabriel Parfitt who takes the mark on the half-forward line. So the Demons up in the ante as Gabriel Parfitt returning to the lineup in recent weeks. Didn't start the season with the Demons. Coming back from the northwest, of course. He's been working up there for a couple of years. A welcome return to his club. Gabriel Parfitt. It's a nice kick, but it's not straight enough. And it's caught the breeze somewhat and only gone through for the minor score.
And on the Grams scoreboard, another minor score for Rovers. Rovers go to 13 goals, 5. And they lead Mullewa 2 goals, 4, 16.
Brennan's got it back now.
As we head towards half-time. So the ball is with the Rovers youngster, small player, in Sean Brennan. So Sean Brennan, he is 40 metres out. 35 metres out, shooting towards the southern end.
I think he's one of the co-captains, Glenn.
Very good. So there's the siren. Sean Brennan is a vice-captain. Yes, you are spot on. There goes Sean's kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire doesn't move. And Sean Brennan gets a goal right on the siren. And it is Mullewa who trailed 2-14, 2 goals 4. And Rovers are 14 goals 5. So 14-5. Plays 2-4 in favour of the Rovers Demons as we head towards half-time on Radio Mama on GNFL's premiership season with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
You're listening to Radio Mama and the GNFL match of the day thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
Down like bottles on the wall. Mama said her dad's to blame, but that's his daddy's fault. Oh, there's no one left to call. You stay up counting down the days till you make your escape, but you're afraid you can outrun run what's running through your veins. Oh, you're carrying the weight in the dead of night on that broken road. I won't let you walk alone. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline. Oh, we got each other.
Good afternoon, welcome back. It's half-time of the football. Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day, live from Mullewa Oval. And good to have your company. Second place Rovers up against the bottom place Mullewa. And at the moment the scoreline suggests that is correct. And the score is Rovers 14 goals, 5, 89. They lead Mullewa 2-4-16. So 73 points the margin. It was 54 points at quarter time. So Rovers continued on their merry way. They kicked 5 goals, 2. And Mullewa, to their credit, kicked 2 goals, 1. This, of course, is Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We're your home of GNFL footy. And it is round 6 of the GNFL Premiership season for Red Dust Holdings today. Other game being played out at Muzzically Oval. And it's the big freeze out there, getting underway at 6 o'clock after the game. And at half-time in the game out there, it is Chapman Valley 6-6-42, leading Towns 4-5-29. This is Glenn Barnett and Peter Frenza keeping you company on a nice afternoon in the Midwest. And at half-time, Mullewa's Ivan Morris has kicked 1 and Cleon Johnson has kicked 1. For Rovers, they've been sharing them around. Chris Scott has kicked 4. Clay Azevedo has kicked 3. Gabriel Parfitt's kicked 3. Tom Denton, Baron Parfitt, Kobe Simpson and Sean Brennan 1 apiece. Umpire about to get this third quarter underway, this third term, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. We'll look at the contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day as the quarter unwinds. Umpire Osborne puts the ball into the air. Ball picked up now by Josh Simpson. Roved it well. Kicks it forward or handballs it forward. Goes only as far as the Mullewa player there, and Charlie come again. Ball comes back towards the player there, pushing the ball forward in Riley. Ball spills, comes back to Rovers through Azevedo. Azevedo breaks through the centre. Big kick up towards full forward, but a good strong mark taken there by the Mullewa player in Kristen Wright. Kristen Wright takes a good mark, plays out, gets the ball out wide, but the ball goes out of bounds. So the new rule means that Kane Simpson brings the ball in quickly. Rovers on the receiving end, very close to the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw-in. Umpire says we'll throw the ball back in. Contenders for Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, I thought Kelvin Walls continues to play well. Leadham Papertalk, Shane Buddy and Heath Wongawal is doing well for the Mullewa Saints.
And for Rovers, Adams in the middle, Denton also, so Adams in the ruck, Denton in the middle, Chris Scott, Clay Azevedo and Gabriel Parfitt.
So the ball's still in play. Goes the way of Kelvin Wall. Feeds a handball out, goes back and receives it. But the ball is cut off there by Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson kicks the ball up towards half forward. Ball goes the way of Gabriel Parfitt. He does the shadow boxing.
Oh, my God.
And he throws it on his left boot. And Gabriel gets his 4th goal of the afternoon. Didn't take too long in this third quarter. This third quarter, the premiership quarter, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. And on the scoreboard for Yalala, we can tell you that it's now 15 goals, 5 Rovers to Mullewa 2 goals, 5.
How do you sell the dummy, he was asked. He certainly did that, Glenn. Gabriel Parfitt, a bit of pretty footy there, but it finished off pretty well, and Rovers looking pretty out there in the park at the moment. They led by 73 points at half-time, dominating this game this afternoon. This is Drennan O'Malley Game Day. Ball back in the middle now, the last goal scored by the Demons. It takes them now 15-5. That's a pretty good score, leading Mullewa 2 goals, 4. Good day for footy out there. A little bit of chill, a bit of a chill in the air, but that's how you like it. It's footy season. Of course, the big rodeo happening next weekend. It's a sellout, as Glenn told you, always is each and every year. Simpson, Joshua Simpson, out of the middle he comes. It's a nice kick into the half-forward area. He puts it there for all and sundry to pick it up, and it's picked up by Kobe Bursell, who shoots on goal, and Kobe Bursell has scored a major.
So Kobe Bursell becomes the 8th goal scorer for Rovers this afternoon. And, very good goal from the young man. Finished off beautifully. And the scoreboard rolls over for Yalala. And it is a big scoreline now for Rovers. Rovers 16 goals, 5. They lead Mullewa 2 goals, 4.
Azevedo, Simpson and Denton all killing it in the middle, mate. That is awesome at the moment, Glenn.
Yeah, that's right. But certainly, the amount of opposition is certainly a little bit of a concern as well.
It's hard to counteract something like that.
It is, very much so. So the Mullewa players, there's nothing wrong with their efforts. They're certainly trying, but they're getting outgunned and outrun. Ball comes the way of Adams. It goes the way of Azevedo, but well done again. The young Mullewa player throws his body in, goes back in and retrieves it, and eventually it comes out, and Isaiah Simpson was that player, but a free kick goes the way of Azevedo. He's a big, strong player now, plays on wide, gets it out towards the player there in Kobe Bursell, who kicked the last goal, kicks it up as the Rovers player once again. Kelvin Wall stands his ground, does it well, feeds a handball backwards, goes the way of a teammate, but now it gives it back towards the player there in Gabriel Parfitt. But once again, Mullewa get an opportunity to clear, or do they? Ball goes the way of Simpson, picked up now by Denton. Tom Denton kicks the ball forward, but a good solid mark taken in defence by Mullewa. So Mullewa hanging on, but they are under a heap of pressure.
Certainly are, as Rovers continue to bombard the full forward area. Joshua Simpson takes a clean mark just out of the defensive 50 for Mullewa now, and we'll have another shot on goal. Joshua Simpson, been a bit of a journeyman in the GNFL, probably stayed the longest here at the Rover Football Club, and certainly is adding to their plethora of talent in the midfield as he has a shot on goal now. We're right behind him here from our broadcast position for Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Ben Barton and Peter Forenza bringing you all the action via Filming Footy. Simpson. Gee, that's a nice kick by Simpson. Off his boot, it swung around and straight through the middle. He's a talent, and he scores another goal for the Demons.
Yeah, Josh Simpson, nothing ever surprises you the way he does what he does. So Josh Simpson...
Saw it swing in, Glenn, didn't you?
Yeah, a great effort there from Josh Simpson. Very clever footballer. Certainly been around for a while now and still playing good footy, which is good to see. And enjoying his footy, which is lovely.
That's the point.
Yeah.
He looks like he's really enjoying it out there.
Yeah, 17 goals, 5 on the scoreboard for Yalala this afternoon.
What was the last score we heard from Mazzucchelli Oval in the big freeze there this weekend, Glenn?
Chapter Valley 6-6-42, lead Towns 4-5-29. That was at half-time. So 17 goals, 5, 107 for Rovers, 2-4-16. Ball back in the centre in this third term, the premiership quarter. But it looks like Rovers have got the momentum to keep things ticking the way it has for the first 2 quarters. Picked up by the Mullewa player there, sends the ball up towards half forward. Ball spills to the front, picked up by Roworth. Roworth kicks it away of Dwayne Neville. But the man reading the ball best is Kelvin Wall. He's been excellent this afternoon. Plays on quickly, gets it up the ground, but only as far as Matt Adam with the ball, playing ruck for the Demons this afternoon. Kicks it forward, looking up there for Chris Scott. The young Mullewa player in Kalen Sealander does well, gets held while not in possession. So Kalen Sealander, only a young man, working hard, goes across the ground. That's what I love about Mullewa. They do whatever they need to do to keep possession. Ball goes away of Kristen Wright. He comes up the ground, and he's picked out his teammate there, and Isaiah Simpson. Isaiah Simpson with the ball on centre wing. Takes 1 bounce, 2 bounce, runs along the Rodeo side of the ground, the wing, kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for a teammate. Gaia is there for Rovers, but he took them on, and he's been penalised. A good tackle. The advantage rule paid. The umpire's going to bring it back. So...
and while the umpire's bringing that back, young Sealander, is that Marty's son? Grandson, there you go, which means, incidentally, it's an interesting statistic here, or an interesting bit of information. His grandmother was a pass, and the passes are Blue Buds of the Rover Football Club.
Very much so.
Yeah.
The ball comes forward now, and good bit of play there from Johnson. He gets it up to a teammate in Latrell Riley. Riley goes a little bit closer to goal, and marking it 45 metres out, directly in front, is Shane Bonney, the man himself, and a 50-metre penalty. So Shane Bonney will go from 45 metres to directly in front, and Shane Bonney will get the easiest goal of his career. He's kicked a few, and he's going to get the easiest goal of his life. So Shane Bonney, 5 metres out, directly in front. Nobody stands the mark, straight through the centre, and Shane Bonney becomes the 3rd goal scorer for the Mullewa Saints today. So others to score goals for Mullewa. Ivan Morris has kicked 1. Cleon Johnson has kicked 1. And now Shane Bonney has kicked 1. So on the scoreboard for Yalala this afternoon, it is Mullewa 3 goals 4. They trail Rovers 17 goals 5.
Yeah, it's a big margin the Demons lead by here this afternoon, and that indiscretion wouldn't make their coach's bench very happy last week against Brigades. They gave away 2 goals in. It could have been very costly for them, but they were able to get over the reigning premier last week. But come finals, come clutch time in a game, those things can be very dangerous indeed. The ball back in the middle now, and Matty Adams knocks it down almost the throw to Denton. But a free kick has been found, and it will go the way of Mullewa. The player with the ball at the moment is Jaden Wall. So Jaden sends it further afield, straight down the middle. No one can collect it. Mullewa still in possession, though. Goes away of a player there in Corey Walsh. Walsh has had a few games under his belt for the Saints. He kicks it to the outer side in space now, and there's Bursell. Big conveyance that he is. He spins around on a 50-cent piece. Well, let's say a bit bigger than that. He's more like the Queen Mary. He tries to get it to a teammate there. Goes away of Cohen Credelli. He kicks into the man on the mark. Eventually comes away of Mullewa. Back with Wall. Needs to slow things down. Mullewa starting to get some traction now, are they? They kick it straight down the corridor, and there's Kobe Simpson. Back in defence, he sends it further afield. He's looking for Brennan. Brennan tries to mark the ball, can't mark it, slaps it down onto ground. The ball spills free. Going back the way of Wall now. In turn, comes away of his teammate in Cassius Wall, out to the outer side. Roworth goes up, it goes to ground, cleverly picked up on this occasion by Isaiah Simpson. He zigs and zags out of a couple of players inside the corridor now, going the way of the last goal scorer, and that player is Bonnie. He shoots for the big sticks.
Oh, offline.
And it was almost a good goal, as you heard by my co-commentator Glenn Barndon, getting pretty excited. Not as excited as our friend Mark Foreman was last week at the Eagles, Glenn.
No, he wasn't quite as glamorous a goal as Murdoch kicked last week. What an effort. I found out yesterday that Murdoch's brother, Roman Murdoch, he played for Chapman Valley in 2018.
Well, there you go, Glenn.
Yeah, and he played some good footy in 2018.
You knew Marlon was a good bloke.
Yeah.
And Marlon was a good bloke, and that shows it.
So I think there's three boys. One's called Paris, one's called Roman, and one's called Milan.
Milan, there you go. They're a bit of a European flavour there.
They are.
Ball back in the middle now, going to ground, going back the way of Rovers, and out of the pack it comes. Matty Adams, a nice handball, effective, but eventually the ball goes forward, and the defence for Mullewa doing the better. Rovers taking their foot off the pedal somewhat in this passage, in this stage of the third term. Brought to you by Drennan O'Malley, the Premiership quarter. The ball coming out in front of our broadcast position. A nice mark is taken by a youngster. He is pretty young there, and that is Heath Wangawal. He sends it inboard now. Up they go. Simpson's there. Brings the ball down, but not able to collect it. But there's Kobe Simpson again. Pretty tidy is Simpson. He waits. He balances and finds Denton. Denton, the Clune medalist, gives it away to this Azevedo. Will he be a medalist in the future? He's got the potential. He's got the talent. He sends it into the full forward area. Scott running into an open goal. Bang. Another one for the Demons.
Chris Scott gets his fifth of the afternoon.
Started from Kobe Simpson, that one, Glenn.
It did, yeah. He ran hard and ran the ball right down the ground. And on the Yelala scoreboard, we see that Rovers are now 18 goals, 5. They lead Mullewa 3 goals, 5. So it's a 15-goal game in favour of the Demons. Last weekend, we saw Mullewa beaten by 144 points. So that is under threat as we head towards the early stages of this third term. It's only about 7 minutes in to the third term. The Drennan O'Malley Motors quarter, so a lot of time to go in this quarter.
Scott, is he 6 or 7 goals now?
He is 5.
5, is he? I'm actually giving an extra goal. I thought I'd be wrong, so I threw another one in there, Glenn.
Yes, yes.
Ball back in the middle now. The last goal scored by Chris Scott. He's having a bit of a birthday this afternoon. The ball going the way of Denton. He's quickly brought to ground, but he gets the ball away. Grabs at his shoulder, though. In fact, it's Azevedo, I think, who's grabbing at his shoulder. That doesn't look good. He's holding it, and he's coming off toward the boundary, so we'll keep an eye on that, but that's not good.
His wrist, I think.
Yeah, gee, that's a blow for the Demons.
Yeah,
he's been on fire.
He's in a lot of pain. It might be his shoulder, like you say, because his shoulder's heavily strapped, but he's getting off not the most convincing way.
Azevedo might have done a collarbone.
I think his shoulder bone might have popped out.
Yes, collarbone may have done so. So let's hope it's only that, because Azevedo, he hit the ground pretty hard after a tackle. The ball going through for a point now for Mullewa during that skirmish. The ball coming out of defence now. Mullewa on the far side. The wide expanses of Mullewa Oval here this afternoon. They tell me they'll have an electronic scoreboard here in a couple of weeks, Glenn. And All electronic scoreboards just about in the GNFL. The ball in defence, Roworth. He's been good since coming back into the lineup. A premiership player with the Demons. He sends it further afield, and there's Kobe Simpson. He's one of the better players. He should be amongst my better players, though. I haven't listed him as to this point, but the final analysis he'll make it as Kobe Simpson sends it in now, looking for Neville. Neville struggled today to find some traction. He loses possession on that occasion. The ball spills free. Goes away now of Kane Simpson. Simpson tries to knock it forward, but it's caught in a mass of players, and they're Mullewa players. One of those is Bonnie. Bonnie's clever. He tries to kick it out of a host of players, but there's Denton. Straight onto his boot. Doesn't waste any time, and there's Scott again, the danger man, up forward. Scott, he sees the lead. The lead is by Farron Parfitt. He runs over the top of the ball. The ball spills free. Looks like it's Credelli that's pushed in the back, or is it? In fact, it's Brennan. He's looking for a free kick. The umpire says nothing in that. The ball goes to the other side, just in front of the forward 50 for Rovers. There's a bit of a pack developing, and the umpire has come in, Umpire Luxton, to ball it up again. In Rovers' attack here in the middle stages of the third term for Drennan O'Malley Motors.
Ball thrown up, and the big fellas go at it. Chris Scott lopes it to the ground to Farron Parfitt, but the ball doesn't carry the goal. Picked up by Mullewa defence. They go out wide. Find Shane Bonney deep in the pocket. Shane Bonney plays on quickly, puts his teammate under pressure, but well done by the young man. He'd made something out of nothing, kept the ball going, did young Kalen Sealander. Kalen Sealander kicks it up towards the centre of the ground, looking out there for Nathaniel Simpson. Ball comes out. Lot to like about the way this young man's played in Simpson. Isaiah Simpson kicks the ball up towards half forward. Looking up there for Corey Walsh. Corey Walsh has got Simpson to beat, Kobe Simpson on this occasion. Ball comes up the ground, goes the way of Cohen Credelli. Credelli kicks it in towards Tom Denton. Tom Denton on centre wing. Rodeo side of the ground, kicks it up towards the teammate, picked up by Kelvin Wall. Clever enough to get rid of it just in the nick of time. Comes back towards a Mullewa defender. They're trying to get the ball out of the danger zone. Whistle on play, and the player was held while not in possession, and Mullewa will relieve the pressure, and they pretty happy to do that.
Oh, not a good kick.
Comes right across the face of goal. Gave it to Bonnie. Bonnie does well. Back towards a teammate, and Bonnie receives it, sends it forward, and it goes the way of Jaden Wall on centre wing, just in front of the club rooms here at Mullewa.
One of the biggest possession getters so far for Mullewa this afternoon. This fella, too, has had a bit of the ball. I'm talking about Heath Wengawal. But he kicks into the player in front of him. That player is Simpson. Simpson loses possession, going back the way of Mullewa. They head further afield, but Jamie Geyer, he's pretty reliable, is Geyer. Rocker Gibraltar sends it inboard now. Denton, starting to get leather poisoning since half-time. In fact, halfway through the second term, he started to up the ante on possessions. Denton is going to go back now to Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson. He's got a bit of room. No one's really putting on the pressure to the big fella here. He comes further afield and straight down the middle and finds Roworth. Roworth, beautiful handball to Denton. Bit of a clinic at the moment as he kicks to the outer side, but ill-directed kick looking for the shorter player there in Brennan. Outpointed on this occasion. Mullewa take the mark at centre wing. They come across the ground laterally now. Backward to the centre square. The game slowed down to a snail pace. It comes out toward our broadcast position. Two players are going to contest for the ball, and one of them is a JJ Clue medalist. And that, of course, is Scott. He gets away with a nice handball, gives it away to Farron Parfitt. Back to Scott, and there he is. Kobe Bursell sends it inboard. Gee, that was clever by Bursell. He waited the kick, went inside the corridor, and found Scott again. And he'll shoot on goal from about 25 metres directly in front.
Yes, Chris Scott lining up for goal number 6. He's had a birthday, as we've mentioned, a number of times today. But he's hard running. You've got to give him credit. He's been able to run from half back to half forward, unattended for most part, but he keeps receiving and passing the ball off and getting it back in that case.
Players of his talent and strength are pretty hard to beat in a game like today, Glenn.
That's right, especially when they run as hard as he does, which is a good effort to him. There goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot, straight through the centre. And we see that now Chris Scott has got his 6th goal of the afternoon. And the scoreboard keeps rolling on for Yellella this afternoon and for Rovers. And the scoreboard, Rovers are 19 goals, 6. They lead Mullewa 3 goals, 5. So a big performance from Chris Scott,
And
a big
just
performance from the Rovers side.
letting you know, Clay Zavato has left the ground, which we believe could be a shoulder injury. Hit the deck pretty hard and then came off limping off the ground. So it could be a collarbone or it could be a shoulder that's popped out. But we'll find out presently. So the ball back in the middle now. Scott, the last goal scorer. 19-6 plays 3-5 in favour of the Demons. Certainly are dominating here this afternoon. That's a bit of an understatement. The ball going into the half-forward area now.
So the ball is on the half-forward line. Goes the way, again, by that player there in Jaden Wall, who's been good. Ball comes the way of the player for Credelli. Comes out towards Tom Denton. Rovers are on the way forward. They have it on centre wing. Tom Denton gets the ball forward. Gets a handball. Goes the way of a teammate in Credelli. And once again, Chris Scott was on the end of that. And Chris Scott is marked 20 metres out, deep on the boundary line.
Clay Zavato waiting to go back on, Glenn.
Well, it must have just popped out then,
Yeah.
so that's good news for Rovers and for
It is.
him. So I do see he has his shoulder strapped, and there's a problem for a number of players.
There's a couple of them in the competition that have that
Yeah.
problem, Glenn.
It's not the bone. It's very painful
Well,
when
you
they
know
go
that
out, and it's very
the great-
painful to get
the
them
great
back.
Chris Judd suffered from that early in his career.
There goes the kick from Chris Scott. Chris Scott has now got 7, Peter, and he keeps going.
I knew
on the
that's what he
scoreboard.
was headed for,
You
Glenn. I
knew
was
he was
just
heading for that. So we see the scoreboard now for Yalala. 20 goals, 6, 126, and Mullewa 3-5. So 23. So a big margin starting to build on the scoreboard. As we mentioned, Mullewa have had a big loss last weekend. They went down by 144 points to the Railway side last weekend.
Mullewa has always been a fortress for the Saints, hasn't it?
It has. The Brigades beat Mullewa early on in the year by 134, so they've had some big whacks across the season so far, and the clubs that are vying for the top 4 looking to improve their percentage at Mullewa's expense, it would appear. So the ball back in the centre. Matt Adams wins at the ground, but Daskowski goes back in and has a go. Danishowski. Ball comes back towards Rovers and Tom Denton. Tom Denton goes with a short pass, finds Gabriel Parfitt on centre wing on the other side, or the Rodeo side, goes the way of Geyer. Jamie Geyer gets the ball up towards half forward. A Mullewa player has the ball held to him, and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. So the umpires this afternoon doing a wonderful job for Sandra Carr, MLC, our GNFL umpires, Paul Luxton, Kevin Osborne and Russell Brodie. Ball comes back to Rovers through their throw-up. Goes the way now of Tom Denton. He's tackled, caught in possession. So the young Mullewa player and Jaden Wall, who's been a hard worker, gets just reward. And a 50-metre penalty. I think that's something that I'll have to get out of their game.
Yeah, we talked
Peter.
about it a little bit earlier, Glenn. It's something that could be their Achilles heel.
It's certainly not going to help, giving away 50-metre penalties. And good luck to young Jaden Wall. Uses the 50-metre. He's still a fair way from goal. Goes the way of Johnston. Ball slapped away from him. But a free kick will go towards him. He was interfered with above the shoulder. Plays on quickly. Gets it up towards half forward. The Mullewa player quickly throws the ball forward. But a Rovers player and Jamie Guy stands his ground. Goes by hand to Kobe Simpson. He gives it to young brother Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson takes one bounce. Puts it on his left boot. Kicks it forward. Finds the young Rovers player there in Jacob Troy. Jacob Troy plays on quickly. Gets in the way of Matt Adams. Matt Adams plays on. Kicks it up towards full forward. Looking up there for Cody Bursell. Ball doesn't carry. Comes off hands. And a minor score results. So Rovers go to 20 goals, 7, 127. And Mullewa 3-5.
Kobe Bursell
23.
played a lot of his footy on the half-back line as a centre half-back, but I think they're trying to see if they can try him out as a centre half-forward. If he can take a good grab, Glenn, he's getting the size about him as well, so it could be a strong centre half-forward for the Demons in the future. But why wouldn't you try your players out in different positions today with the situation the game is in? And I think the Brains Trust for Rovers are doing just that. The ball off the half-back line now with the Mullewa player who tried to do everything, and on that occasion he was tackled a little high, which was lucky for him. Gabriel Parfitt a little bit untidy on that occasion. The ball coming out to our broadcast position, and yeah, Mullewa bit of a nice passage of play, but that player let themselves down on that occasion. That's Charlie Come again, kicked into the man on the mark. Rovers quickly rebound from that. And a player is dealt with when he was getting rid of the ball, and that is young Credelli, and he's getting a little bit upset with it. I didn't see what happened then. I had my head down on that occasion.
The umpire said it was a bit late.
Yeah, and it was. We did see Credelli on the ground, but Credelli should just wait for the umpire to do the job he has to do. But he's not looking too good, he's young Cohen Credelli. And the trainer is running out there to check him out.
He's coming off.
He is. But that was the only negative probably we've seen in this game to this point.
The umpire, not the umpire, the trainer's saying you've got to come off, Cohen.
Yeah.
So he's coming off now.
He doesn't know where he is.
He's a tough little boy. So the ball, free kick goes up the ground and it'll go the way of Tom Denton in the centre of the ground. Umpire plays time on, and Tom Denton from the centre of the ground kicks the ball up towards half forward, looking up there for Josh Simpson.
Oh.
Josh Simpson has the ball taken from him by Chris Scott. Chris Scott centres the ball, gives it to a teammate who runs into an open goal, and a very easy goal in the end there to Paddy Spout. So Paddy Spout gets his first of the afternoon.
Good to see.
Score.
Good to see that that the player there for Rovers was a little bit unselfish. Could have another shot on goal and gone for goal number 8, but he decided to pass it off, and good team play there by the Gloom medalist, and of course that is Chris Scott. The ball coming back to the middle now. I think young Cohen's okay. He's just a bit shaken up as he comes off the ground. As I said, Azevedo was coming back on. I can't see him back out there yet, but he was along the boundary. So
I don't think the players saw a lot in it because there was no remonstrating afterwards. Of course, filming footy has got all the footage. I don't think there's anything untoward. It'll be interesting to see if that goes any further.
This is something that happened a little bit late, a bit untidy, and the ball coming back to the middle now. It is the third term, thanks to Dren O'Malley Motors. Hello to Ron O'Malley. He listens into our broadcast each and every week, and that is the siren. To announce that it is three-quarter time in our Dren and O'Malley game day, and it is Rovers with a commanding lead, a huge lead, 21-6. They lead Mullewa 3-5. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Kerrily War MLA and the City of Greater Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Match of the day. Thanks to our sponsors, Melissa Price MP and Grant Russell, Chartered Accountants. On
Good
Radio
afternoon.
Mama,
Welcome back.
the
Three-quarter
home
time
of
of the football.
GFL
Brennan O'Malley Motors Game Day. Live from the Mullewa Oval with Mullewa hosting the second place Rovers. Glenn Barnder and afternoon for Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. And we're your home of GNFL footy. And at three-quarter time, Rovers on their way to a big win. Rovers 21 goals, 7, 132. They lead Mullewa 3 goals, 5, 23. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, out at Mazzucchelli Oval, scores a level at three-quarter time.
Wow.
Chapman Valley 7-7, 49. Towns 7-7, 49. We'll get into the goal scorers and contenders for the Skitters Restaurant as the quarter unfolds. This final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants as umpire Luxon gets the game underway. Picked up beautifully once again by Jaden Wall. Gets the ball forward for Mullewa, only as far as Rovers' Kobe Simpson comes back to a teammate, gets the ball forward.
Oh, that's clever.
And that's Wade and Gentle gets the ball up the ground. And eventually a mark is taken by Mullewa and Isaiah Simpson. Isaiah Simpson looking for some run from his teammates. Can Mullewa run the game out? The ball turned over. There goes the way of player in Brennan. Brennan gets it up the ground, finds Parfitt. Farron kicks it further afield, up towards centre half forward where he finds young Kobe Bursell. So Kobe Bursell is 50 metres out from goal, directly in front. So all of a sudden, Rovers are in the chance to kick another goal. Kobe Bursell's kicked one, but he'll probably try and lay it off. But he's going back now. Umpire's saying you're in the right zone. So he'll kick from just on 50 metres. So it's a fair sort of a kick. Kicking to the southern end, the end to which Rovers are kicking in this final term.
Oh.
He tried to kick it a little bit too hard. Ball goes off the side of his boot, out of bounds on the full. So we get Mullewa to bring the ball back into play. Looking at better players, Kelvin Wall, who's got the ball now, he will be clearly Mullewa's best player at the moment. Well, Shane Bonney's working hard. Heath Wongawall, Isaiah Simpson, Jaden Wall, all working hard. And here's the player I was talking about, Heath Wongawall. He's doing okay for the Mullewa Saints. He's on centre wing.
Kobe Simpson, Kobe Bursell, Jamie Gear, Denton, and also Scott, better players for the Demons.
Matt Adams, the ruckman, who's done a very serviceable
Yeah, he's been
job
in
today.
there too, Glenn. We'll put
He
him in
takes
there
a
as
good
well.
mark, gets the ball up forward and finds Brennan, a Rovers player down on the ground at the moment with cramp. Ball goes the way of Chris Scott. Chris Scott has the ball. In fact, it's a Mullewa player with cramp. There's Wongawall. Yeah, he's run up pretty hard today. Ball goes the way of Chris Scott. Deep in the forward pocket, kicks it up towards the centre half forward position, picked up now by the player there in Troy, and he shoots on goal, and he's offline. So good effort there from Jacob Troy, but he was offline on that occasion. Another minus score. So Mullewa trailing 23 points to Rovers 133.
Yes, they led by 110 points at quarter time. The Demons, three-quarter time, I should say. This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants, getting close to tax time. It's going to be interesting tax time this year, Glenn.
Yes, so people will be looking at what they've got to do and how they're going to do it.
A few changes. So the ball about to be thrown in front of our broadcast position. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. A bit of a one-sided affair, but great to see local footy. And thanks to filming footy, you can take it to the lounge rooms of our homes in and around Australia. The ball going into the middle there. Jamie Guy, he's been good this afternoon. He continues to always be good. A very serviceable individual, this guy. He sends it to the outer side and finds Simpson. On the far side, it's Brennan. Brennan now thinks about his opportunities going forward and finds this player, Jacob Troy, only coming on to the ground since we saw Azevedo go to the boundary. Maybe they're just looking after Azevedo, Glenn. We saw him beside the white line.
Back on.
Yeah, no good bringing him back out there to put him out in harm's way again, but they'll save him for next week because the Demons probably have a pretty big game in the hands next week. Oh, no, there's no game for the Demons. There's only one standalone, and we'll be there at Kalbarri, Glenn.
Yes, and the week after that, Rovers play Railways at...
are we there?
Well, we are. Damien Truck, Greenock Oval.
Gee, that's going to be a big one.
13th. And, of course, we'll be next week. Well, the only one game next week, and Peter, Northampton and also Railways, and we'll be at that game, of course. Northampton
The
playing
only
Railways.
oval in the GNFL with a picket fence, Glenn.
Yeah, Chapman Valley and Railways, Rovers play the week before the Railways game, so that'll be a good game too. But we'll be up at Northampton and Mullewa, so that'll be a good contest. So looking forward to that. That's on the 6th. On the 13th, Rovers play Railways. So in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be seeing Rovers again when they play Railways. But before they play Railways, they play Chapman Valley. Ball is with Kobe Simpson. He said he's the ship with a little pass. He goes the way of Gabriel Parfitt.
I love to ask you questions and confuse you as you talk, Glenn. I think it's wonderful. But,
Gabriel Parfitt.
Sorry I do that.
That's all right. Well, I was a bit confused because there's only one game next week, and that threw me a little.
It did.
The ball comes the way of
He's
Cleo
back
Zavato.
on. He's back
so
on.
He is back on. He's
Saying, look, here I am.
Here I am. That's how I do it. He brings the ball up. He looks as good as gold. So that's great news. Ball comes the way of Mullewa.
And just put a new shoulder in, off he went.
Paper Talk is tripped. And the ball is with Paper Talk. Looking to get the ball on, playing in defence. He's had a lot of work to do, as he does most weeks. Gets it up the ground. Finds a teammate there, and Cassius Wall. Cassius Wall, a very good-looking young player. Very strong player. And looks like he's got a big future. Whistle on play. Once again, another 50-metre penalty. And Farron Parfitt must have moved.
Gee,
he didn't stand.
It is a bit of an issue with the Demons Club. I know they are addressing it, Glenn, but they need to spend a bit of time just focusing on it. That's
Maybe they need to get the umpires out and spend a night there just telling them how they need to do it. Because
but I mean, when it's players like Parfitt that aren't understanding what's going on.
Very experienced player and a clever player.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can understand younger people getting a little bit confused. But, so the ball is out of bounds on the far side. So ball is on the outer side. Of course, it's final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. So scores are level out at Mazzucchelli Oval at three-quarter time. So a big thrilling game there. Fourth playing fifth.
So who's going to break the ice?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be an important one because if Towns win, they join Chapman Valley on the same amount of points. If Chapman Valley win, they go 2 games clear. So it's
and it'll make Rovers look pretty good up the top of the table, won't it? So, they will certainly be holding that just about on their own, just about. So the ball going forward now for Mullewa into the full forward area. Up they go. And no one can take the mark. And Jamie Gower in the last line of defence. Geez, good, isn't he? Said that a couple of times this afternoon, probably overdoing it. But when you see Guy, there's not much of him, but he has the smarts, doesn't he, Glenn? And he certainly has paid off for him at the Demons, being a premiership player as well. The ball going the way of Kyson Credelli now, down the line, and Denton sends it down in front of our broadcast position and finds Brennan. Further afield, and off they go. Jacob Troy kicks into the full forward area, running out and taking a nice strong mark is Azevedo, and he's come back on as though he's never left the field then. He sends it inboard, and coming down the field to shoot on goal now is Farron Parfitt. So Farron Parfitt, he's been serviceable again today. Of course, he is one of the senior players in the Rovers lineup. Probably a few years ago, he probably would have been a contender for a Clune medal or two, Glenn, because he certainly is a talented individual, isn't he?
Oh, very, very special player. Very, very clever player indeed. Like you say, his best days are probably behind him, but still a very serviceable player and still playing good footy. As he lines up from goal from 50 metres out.
Well, that's a nice kick.
That's a beautiful kick indeed. And the goal umpire signals all clear. So Farron Parfitt gets his second goal of the afternoon. And on the scoreboard for Grams in this final term, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants, another major goes on the board, and Rovers are 22 goals, 8, which is a pretty sizable score. 22 goals, 8 to Mullewa, 3 goals, 6. So.
Yeah, Glenn, we know both of us aren't too good at maths, but if Rovers win today, that'll put them 2 games clear on top of the table, will it not?
No, put them a game clear. But
they already are the game clear.
No, they're not. No.
Yes, they are.
No.
Anyway, just have a look anyway.
Brigades are on top with 12 premiership points.
No, Rovers are on top of the premiership table. Rovers are on top of the premiership table.
Yeah, okay.
By
Railways are 16 points,
game.
Rovers are 16 points. Yeah, but Rovers will go to 20, but Railways haven't played this round. Railways play the end of this round.
But if they play next week, Railways play next week, do they?
They play next Sunday.
Yeah, that's
next
right.
Saturday.
Okay.
And this round concludes next Sunday.
Okay, but I was thinking at the end of this week, at the end of
Well, end of today they'll be on top, but Railways aren't playing.
Yeah, but still.
Railways play next week.
Yeah.
So Railways win, they'll stay at the top if they win.
They haven't been at the top yet.
They are top now. Railways are on top.
Okay, all right.
So the ball comes back into play and a minus score results. And a score ticks over and the ball comes back into play. So we see Mullewa get a minus score. So they are trying. They keep working away. Mullewa are 3-7 and they trail 22-8 on the Graham scoreboard as the ball comes back into play. And the ball comes up the field, up towards the Mullewa club rooms, picked up by Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson centres the ball and finds Chris Scott. Chris Scott knocking up, getting kicks this afternoon. Here goes the kick from Scott up towards half forward. In goes the Rovers player, interfered with. Free kick will go the way of Jacob Troy. He plays on quickly. Not a good kick. Puts Sean Brennan under pressure. Sean Brennan, as ball spills, comes the way of Farron Parfitt.
It's a good shot.
And Farron Parfitt shoots on goal.
Gee, he's on fire,
he's offline and on minus score.
I thought that was through the middle.
Rovers are 22-9, 141 on the scoreboard for Grams this afternoon. And Mullewa are 3-7. So the ball to be brought back into play. Once again, the players had to go and retrieve the ball. So time ticking by in this last quarter, not ticking quick enough for the Mullewa players, but a good line. GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Game's been going 10 minutes in this final term, but to the credit of Mullewa have kept Rovers to 1 goal in that 10 minutes. So they are holding them at sway at the moment in this quarter. As the ball comes back in, another boundary throw in about 50 metres around from the right point post at the southern end of the ground. So the ball will be thrown back into play now. Boundary umpire waiting. And he is going to throw the ball in now. And it's a good throw in too. The players come forward, ball comes to ground. And picked up now by Mullewa. Mullewa kick it forward. And almost a good mark to the Mullewa player there, Cleon Johnson. He goes back in, retrieves it. Well done. The ball spills, goes the way of Bo Simpson, goes the way of Bursell, comes back towards the player there in Denton, goes the way now of Roworth. He feeds it out to Dwayne Neville. Dwayne runs into a brick wall, but he gets rid of the ball in time. Gets it back to Bradley Roworth. Roworth kicks it up towards half forward, looking again for Clay Azevedo, who was dealt with while not holding the ball. He was interfered with. So the ball is now with the player in Paddy Spout, in fact. Spout puts it on his left boot, kicks it in towards half forward. Nobody home for the Demons. And Kristen Wright takes the mark for Mullewa.
22-9 plays 3-7. You're listening to Radio Mumma, the home of GNFL football, into the final stanza. You're on Adrenaline Mallee game day, and the mark is taken by Gabriel Parfitt inside the corridor, and he'll have a shot on goal. He's only 35 metres out from goal, directly in front, kicking toward the southern end. And the Demons have certainly dominated this afternoon from go to way. There have been a few little passages of play where Mullewa have shown a little bit of brilliance, but finishing off has let them down today, hasn't it, Glenn? So the kick from Gabriel Parfitt is a goal, and that is another one for the Demons. That takes them to 23-9, and they lead Mullewa 3-7. And as Glenn said, next week we head to Kalbarri for what has become a traditional game up there between Kalbarri and Northampton.
Yeah, a great opportunity for people to spend a weekend in Kalbarri and see some good local GNFL footy. Only one game played in the GNFL next weekend. It's an out-of-town game, as they are today, both out-of-town games as well. So hasn't been a lot of footy in Geraldton in recent weeks. And Gabriel Parfitt has got his 5th goal of the afternoon, Peter. So a good performance from Gabriel. And on the scoreboard for Rovers and Grams, we can see that Rovers have kicked 2 goals in this term in the first 10 minutes. Rovers 23-9, lead Mullewa 3-7. Umpire's seen a free kick. A player held, didn't get rid of the ball properly. Ball goes the way of Bursell. He gives it towards Dwayne Neville. Dwayne Neville gives it to Tom Denton. Tom Denton goes towards the boundary line. So too does the young Mullewa player in Caelan Sealander. And the ball will be brought back into play. So Free kick will go the way of Tom Denton with the lasso rule. So Tom Denton, he's worked hard as he always does. Tom Denton kicks the ball towards centre half forward. Looking out there for young Kane Simpson.
That was pretty cagey, wasn't it?
A very good player. Used his body. He hasn't got a big body, but he's clever. There goes Kane Simpson's kick. Kicks it up towards full forward. Looking up there for Farron Parfitt. In goes the Mullewa defence through Kelvin Wall, and he's been outstanding this afternoon. If Kelvin Wall wasn't back there, they would have beaten by a lot more than they have. Ball goes up the ground. Goes the way of Nathan Simpson. Nathan kicks it further afield. Looking up there for Leadham Papertalk. He's been pretty quiet by his high standards after a pretty good start to the game.
His name much this afternoon from yourself.
He started
or
well
myself.
and haven't seen a lot of him since. Goes the way of Shane Bonney. Heard plenty of his name this afternoon. Shane Bonney kicks it up looking for Morrish. Bounces away from him. Once again, it's picked out by the hard-running player there. And Gentle kicks the ball across the ground. Looking out there for his teammate and finds him. That's young Cohen Credelli. Cohen kicks the ball forward. And in fact, that was
him, yeah.
Yep. Gets it away of the player there in Azevedo, who shoots on goal again. But
inaccurate
Azevedo
on this occasion, yeah.
is offline on this occasion, so another minus score result. So Azevedo, but it was Kane Simpson that got it over to. That's where I thought it was Gentle, was Kane Simpson, because he had the ball at the other end of the ground.
He's everywhere
and then
today,
he took
isn't
the ball
he?
at the other end, so well done, well run, Kane. So the ball is now with the player there in Kelvin Wall. He gets it up the ground, gives it to Cassius. Cassius Wall sends it up towards centre wing, looking up there for Leadham Papertalk. Leadham shows his class, runs into trouble, runs around now, takes a bounce, puts it cleverly on his left boot, kicks it towards half forward, but nobody home for the Mullewa Saints. Rovers are there in numbers. Rovers player tackled while not in possession. Free kick will go the way of Rovers and Kane Simpson.
Yeah, gives away to his mate, his brother Kobe, who's been great this afternoon. He's been great so far this season, Kobe Simpson. So too this player in Denton. First couple of games, he's a bit out of sorts, but Denton's proven he is a clear medalist and certainly vying for that title again this year so far as he gets it across to a teammate down the line. And Azevedo is that player. Azevedo finds Brennan, and Brennan on a 45-degree angle is going to have a shot on goal. He's already got one this afternoon. And we'll be going for another. His angle and distance should suit this young fella. And wearing a big 33 on his back. He's kicking toward the southern end. This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. And, of course, Grant Russell is a chartered accountant of note. So get in contact with him with tax time just around the corner. In comes Brennan now. Well, that's not a bad kick, but it faded away just when he didn't want to and goes through for the minus score. So the scoreboard ticks over and Rovers get another point on the board, and that takes them to 12. They go to, I think it's 23-12, and they lead Mullewa 3-7.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton, Chapman Valley 11-8, 74 lead Towns 7-7. 49, so a good lead there for Chapman Valley at the moment. They're in the last quarter there at Mazzucchelli Oval. Ball comes forward again, goes the way of Rovers. Rovers player cleverly puts it on his boot. That's young player there in young Joshua Simpson. And Joshua Simpson...
He scored.
He's kicked a goal.
He has.
He kicked another one. He just does it so easy, doesn't it?
It was
on his left boot.
Ronaldo-esque, wasn't it?
Josh Simpson gets his second of the afternoon. So the scoreboard rolls over. And another goal. So in this quarter, we've seen Rovers add 3 goals, and they've added some 10 goals since half-time, Rovers. So I guess to some extent, Rovers have added some 10 goals since half-time. That's what I'm trying to say. So 10 goals since half-time. So I guess a good effort from Mullewa to sort of curb the flow, although there's still a long way to go in this contest.
Yeah, they'd scored 14 up until half-time.
That's
10
right.
since half-time, yeah. So the ball back in the middle now. Game petered. Well, it did peter out pretty early, but Rovers are keen to assert their authority in the competition in season 2024. And I apologise again, Barndon. Railways do hold the premiership ladder top spot, but Rovers are certainly pushing them, and that game coming up in a couple of weeks' time is going to be very interesting indeed, isn't it, Glenn?
It is. It's really good. It's going to be quite an interesting contest because in the coming weeks, Rovers get to play Chapman Valley and they also get to play Railway. So they'll be looking forward to those encounters. So an opportunity now for Rovers to shoot on goal. And Josh Simpson again. Josh has kicked one from the other side of the ground a few moments ago. So can Josh Simpson pretty well do anything, I think. He's 50 metres out from goal, right on the boundary line from the clubroom side, kicking to the southern end. Looks pretty good off the boot. Pack into the air, off hands. Old umpire signals 1 point only. And on the scoreboard for Grams this afternoon, it is 24 goals, 13, 157 to Mullewa, 3-7-25.
If Josh Simpson can hit a golf ball like he kicks a football, he would be a champion, so he probably
I reckon he would. I reckon he would be able to hit a golf ball. He's one of those people.
He just direction the way that he deals with it is incredible.
Mullewa player in a bit of pain there. Young Christian Wright, he's got a bit of a sore back. Christian Wright plays on quickly. Almost the mark of the day from Azevedo. He went up high, couldn't mark it, but a great effort all the same. Pretty good for a bloke who was almost looked like he wouldn't come back on a few quarters back. Ball goes forward, goes the way now of a Mullewa player. Sees the ball across the ground, and the Mullewa player gets thrown to the ground. The umpire will throw the ball in. Boundary umpire, that is. So there'll be a throw in about 50 metres from the right point post. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. So the boundary umpire taking his time.
So again, post-game tonight, I'm headed to Latitude Jewellery, a jeweller's showroom for the big Flotsam and Jetsam exhibition, which is certainly it's become a mainstay in the local community.
Sort of a landmark, isn't it, on the calendar these days? It's been a marvellous initiative, and it's certainly going from strength to strength.
Some of the things that are produced are just incredible. So I can't wait to get there tonight.
Yeah, it's great to see our artistic people being recognised for the work they do,
and the good part about
something out of
and the good part about it is artists and people that don't see themselves as artists sometimes.
That's right.
Putting things forward, which is
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Creative people as Leadham Paper Talk gets the ball up towards half forward, finds a teammate there, and the ball spills out, comes the way now of Mullewa's Cleon Johnson. Cleon Johnson gets it out, but Rovers save the day through Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson kicks it up to brother Bo. Bo Simpson in the centre of the ground feeds a handball out to Azevedo. Azevedo goes with a short pass, but he turns the ball over, goes the way of the hard-working player there for Mullewa and Heath, Wongawul, who I think has done a great job this afternoon, but comes back to Bursell.
I liked his game today, Kobe.
Yeah, good play. Goes the way of Geyer. Geyer goes with another short pass to Cohen Credelli. Cohen gets the ball up towards the centre wing. Good mark taken again by Tom Denton. As the time gets close to the end, as we quickly go around the grounds, I can tell you that Chapman Valley have defeated Towns. Chapman Valley 11-8 have defeated Towns 8-7. So now a 2-game break for Chapman Valley on the premiership table.
And it's all over here at Mullewa as the siren sounds to announce that Rovers have had a convincing win here in Mullewa this afternoon on Adrenaline Valley game day at full time. It is Rovers 24-13 who defeated Mullewa 3-7. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day. Thanks to our sponsors, Melissa Price MP and Grant Russell, Chartered Accountants. On Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Everybody's got a summer that they can't forget. They hold on to and go back to. Your mind's on the Carolina coast, still burning in my mind like a red sunset. Chasing embers till September.